as a Surat kid, my always dream used to be to get into SVNIT. I eventually if I opted for electronics branch, I would have get SVNIT if I stayed till last round. But uh, being a bit of tech guy and that there was a high time in computer, so वहीं चले गए.
Okay. So depending like 16, 17-year-old Dave and right now, are you in a good place that 16 or 17-year-old would be happy about it? Like ત્યારે જે તારું vision હતું કે ભાઈ I want to do like this and that. Based on that, are you in a better position or like how it has been?
See, life is variable, but I can tell you that it's not the same because we always, I am like, I always overestimate things, but yeah, I can say that I am in a similar place. And about the journey, like it's going smooth, but let's see, there are ups and downs in each year. So,
Each year.
yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel that this day wasn't what I was looking for, and the very next year I'm like, yeah, I'm getting there, I'm getting there.
Yeah, because you have been doing some crazy interesting work. Like you have joined like this software development club at Encode, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
And then you also did some couple of other interesting work, like you were ML lead or something like that in that place.
yeah.
So
Unfortunately, I was.
okay. So tell me more about that part of things. Like
Yeah, about ML. See, in the first year, I was like, let's explore the stuff in computer science. Like it was COVID time, and we were fully studying remotely. Okay, so I got a lot of time, and out of which half of the time went into playing, of course, with uh, with our friends and all that. But yeah, apart from that, there was a wave for data science at that time, and it's
wait,
right now.
my question is not about ML, but my question is about the Encode, your experience with the club itself.
Yeah. I will tell you how I got there. Okay. So after that, I explored ML and all that. I always look forward to the seniors who were working in that club and core club because generally all the serious people in tech were used to get to that club, and I always in talk with them. So first year માં જ્યારે મેં ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ અપાવ્યું ને ત્યારે I got rejected a club, and that sort of ignited a bit of ચિંગારી કે યાર ના હવે તો બેનને જવું છે next time. Okay, so yeah, pretty much પછી next year I again applied in the core tech team and got there.
Okay. So it's like not कोई भी आवे ना चाहे you have to go through the interview process and show some sort of ignition or initial thrust that I want to be part of that enthusiasm, so to speak. Okay.
Even if you are not very technically strong but you are technically inclined, you can.
Yeah, of course, that's the whole purpose of this club, right? So yeah, coming back to the main conversation part, how it has been after like moving out of Surat. Of course, you are still in Gujarat, so it should not be that of a big difference, but still, like, how it has changed your perspective towards Surat as well as your own self, like, how it has changed you. Anything specific?
Yeah. Let me think of that. Okay. Yeah, it is pretty much like it's not culturally very different from Surat, but it's about meeting new people, okay, and gathering new experiences. So, જ્યારે હું સુરતથી નીકળ્યો ને ત્યારે I was like, how would I be able to survive at a very new place without my friends, without my cousins, because my whole family, friends, everything is from the very start from Surat. Okay, so I had no one in Ahmedabad and all. So that was a little tough for me. But yeah, after going to Gandhinagar, it was like I had to be serious about my career and all that. So I met the new people. I got to know from where do they come, from what backgrounds do they come and all that, and क्यों आए इधर वो भी पता चलता है, तो ये वो चालिया कर रही.
So do you get the chance to meet people from different states?
Yeah, I get.
So is there any like tell me about your hostel. So you with whom you are living? Did you live like with different sort of people from different states or just from Gujarat?
Yeah, so in PDPU there are like 80% of the people, no, not 8, yeah, 80% of people are from Gujarat, like staying in Gujarat. Uh, and other than that, 20% are from other states and even from foreign countries. Like there is someone from Dubai who is
Okay.
an NRI and studying over here by paying double fees, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are some people like that too. Yeah, there is one thing I observe from all that, like the shit is real, like the name is real. You know, the fame for one college is real. Like Nirma, PDPU,
Yeah.
it's a
So
big deal in Rat. Yeah.
yeah. So that
But it's just,
how did you end up concluding that? Like what experiences made you feel like yes, I belong to a branded university rather than some small mediocre college?
see, एक एक कहावत सबको मैं यही बोलता हूँ, नाम बड़े है दर्शन खोटे है, ठीक है.
એ તો બધે જ એવું રહેવાનું like irrespective of where you end up, but still like એ તારો અંદરનો perspective છે, like it's an insider perspective, but there would be some certain experiences where you say like I am from PDP and you are treated differently, એવું કંઈક થયું છે?
It's not that branded. It is like, yeah, a decent place to go. And where here also Pareto principle applies, like 20% of the people generate the whole outcome of the university.
Yeah.
So they are on their way to become a new VIT or something because they are increasing their batch strength and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, out of my 320 batch of computer science, only around max 50 people might be serious about placements.
Okay.
And other than that, almost all of them might be flying to US or Canada or any place abroad, and the ones who are left will be like they have a very strong family background and they are just here for concluding their degree. And
Yeah, I get it. How's the startup culture at university?
startup culture, yeah, so we have an incubation center over there, namely IIC, Innovation and Incubation Center. And actually that is a good place. Like after graduating, many of our alumni are working over there, creating a startup and all that. Yeah, like and other than that, a gift city is building near.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's a great plus point.
Yeah, so Gift City is about the financial center based out of Gujarat that it's literally developing a new city, right? Yeah.
It's global now. It's interesting fact is that SGX Nifty will now be called as Gift Nifty.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. So basically, they are creating some incentives to focus all the financial services based out of Gift City, also the international trading as well, and this and that. So in that sense, it's gonna be a really big boost for the Gujarat as a city for tech sector or fintech sector, because India has always been very not India, Gujarat has been always lagging behind the fintech or tech in general. We are very traditional business.
We don't have a tech colony like Noida has tech city. Bangalore has its city, like just like that. We don't have something like that in Gujarat.
Probably Gift City can host something like that. Maybe not on that scale, but maybe.
IBM has already started operating from over there. Other than that, Google is going to start its finance office over there. So yeah, pretty much investments are lined up, and I hope execution is even good, better.
So that brings me to the other question, that people around you, when they talk about startup or starting out, how often do they talk about that in the first place? are people enthusiastic about doing something like that, or it's still very minority of people? Of course, it's always going to be minority, but still, like, are there any real people who already like, in universities we often talk about, like, hear about, like, people doing some interesting shit and they are trying to monetize on that. And so, do you know anybody around you that is into that in your university?
There are some people who are like, આજે આ ખોલી દઈએ, કાલે આ ખોલી દઈએ, આ એક નવો સ્ટાર્ટઅપ આઈડિયા હોઈ શકે. But they don't stick to one and start one.
Yeah.
Okay. So they don't try it out. Okay. And some are those, some like me, that wants to firstly explore and learn,
Yeah.
and then like sort of know how the startup works, how we can implement stuff, and then in future maybe after getting a good idea we will start executing. But yeah, as you said, no one is very much serious about that in Gujarat yet.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I see that a lot. Like, if you go into other parts of the country, probably in the south and in Maharashtra, chances are you would find some good companies that they are building out of the university, but not yet in Gujarat. That's something we are lagging as well.
There are, like, from our university itself, there were two startups. One is Torch It Up, and another one is Imagine Powertree. They were selected in that Shark Tank India. So they went to there. Torch It Up was what we say was shown on the TV, and Shark Tank was not exactly broadcasted, but yeah, they didn't took the funding.
Okay.
So they are pretty much a good startup. That Imagine Powertree has the idea of converting a solar panel in a tree-like structure.
Oh, yeah.
That reducing the space and increasing the efficiency.
Yeah, yeah. And there are a lot of those. I don't certainly believe in those ideas altogether, but startups are startups. Yeah. So, coming back to you, well, what's your experience at your current internship be like? How it's like? Are you actually learning something new, or what? How it's going, right?
Yeah, it pretty much opens your mind. Like, not technically, but in overall sense, like you get to know people. Like, you learn people skills a lot.
Yeah.
Like when you should talk, when you should not talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. મસ્તી કરવી છે કોઈની તો ક્યારે કરવી, ક્યારે નહીં કરવી, that is also an important thing. And like, also as many people are from different states, so અલગ અલગ જગ્યાએથી અલગ અલગ કલ્ચર ખબર પડે લોકોના. અને ટેકનિકલી જોવા જાય તો it provides your way on how you can approach a problem and think towards that, like recursively and all that. It sort of programs you as a problem solver and not being constrained to a technology. I'm not a believer of that. Okay, so I always think that I am an engineer and not a specialist. Okay. Well, specialist is like, I think if you are very passionate about something, you do that. But I am like, I got a problem statement which is very exciting. Let's do it.
I'm very similar to that as well. Like, yeah, you're true. Like I call it as a mercenary of problem solving, not exactly problem solving, but yeah, just mercenary as a software developer. That you have a problem, you get something, and I will create a solution of it, or be part of this team that creates a solution. Whether I'm passionate about it or not, it doesn't really matter. The problem has to be solved. That's the whole thing. I'm getting paid, not paid, but if it's interesting enough, I would do it. But I don't see it as a passionate thing to do. It's just problem and you got to solve it. It's like a math problem.
Yeah.
You don't have to be passionate about it. You just solve it. You find a solution. So I call it as a mercenary thinking, and I pretty much
wrong to get paid for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty much opens up your mind to solve any sort of problems. Like when you're passionate about something at this early age, you pretty much blur out everything else, and that really limits your trajectory because you don't develop that multidisciplinary concepts that, okay, I know this and that, and eventually 5 years down the line, all of those things would connect itself some way or the sometime, and dots would connect, and you would be able to solve some other problem. So I feel like right now I'm open to any sort of problems that can be solved, and I'm happy to learn along the way.
Yeah, and
So
let me tell you, I have a little bit biasness in the case for AI, ML, and those things. I don't pretty much like that stuff right now, so I avoid it generally because I have been to that pathways.
okay. Oh, अभी idea meeting पतवाने से, तो I will start a new one. एक second.
You know,
Okay. So why do you not like EIML? Like, it's a talk of the town, everything is going along in that direction, chat GPT, this and that.
after coming here to Bangalore, I have seen people doing AI and ML at not in initial stages of their careers. It's great if you do it after some sort of specialization in mathematics, statistics, or deep dive into research and stuff. So that's the real sense of data science. And over here in India, if you find jobs for data science, you would get jobs like data tagging and just cleaning the data and all that stuff. And you should not be called a data scientist. All right. So I am not into reading those big, large books and researching about how the neural network works.
I really get your point across. And it's very fascinating because I have a very interesting thought process around that, which is very similar to yours. You are saying that true, that's absolutely true, but I have a bit more developed version of that. So the thing that's happening is not not necessarily in the North America, but in India for sure. Because when I was applying at the universities in India, they would often give you this specializations right in undergraduate, like uh, specialization in ML and data science and this and that. But those are actually like a scam because they don't necessarily teach you a lot. But in order to increase your university seats in the
The university.
from the Commission of India that gives you the allocation of seats, they they starts with this different sort of programs under which they only teach you one or two extra courses, and you are specialized in that, which is absolutely fucked up. But the thing that doesn't stop there. From there, people feel like this is the hot topic. I want to learn that, but they are not actually learning those things. They are not learning the math behind it, stats behind it. They are just using PyTorch library or the
Yeah, yeah.
sort of libraries, and they are like input data set and output data set, and you are just testing it,
They
and
they are wasting their time too much. Yeah, because there are not like computational resources. There is a lack of computational resources over here. So you might train a model for 3 to 4 hours and get no results because you got to know that you applied it wrongly.
yeah, but
I pretty much not.
my problem is more about people don't really know what is going on under the hood, like what the certain model, how it's being developed. They just know how to use that model, how to train that. That's not the data science or ML or AI. It's just training, and you're just using a library which is not even very practical in real life case. So, and people and intermediary or the starting out people, fresh graduates are very excited about that, which is totally fucked up. Like you're not really productive for anything. So as you said,
Yeah.
it's AI and machine learning and those things are actually appropriate after you are a master student, which are based out of research. You are actually researching about that and trying out different things, and then that's when
It's
actually it
great
makes sense.
if you have it as an elective, it's great because you just get to know what it is all about and then decide in future that you have to take it on.
Like, the only problem that I have is if you want to learn about AI, then don't just learn how to apply those libraries. Learn how the
Exactly.
math behind those models works, because that's how you would figure out, okay, whether I can apply this sort of model on my this research question or the business problem or not. You're not just randomly applying and in a black box and you get output and your confidence is like what 95% maybe. You cannot use that sort of models in real life because
Correct.
it's stupid. So yeah, I feel like that. Like I really have this problem that all these people on LinkedIn and everywhere, like they're like, I am specialized in this and that, but they are honestly doing like 2 or 3 courses in the third year or fourth year, and they're like, I am doing AI data science, and they feel entitled, which is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I've been to that place, so I know it's not even worth it.
Yeah. And like we like in my university, I randomly learned those things in one of my data preparation course, like data preparation course, like data cleaning and all the different techniques that we use to clean the data before applying any machine learning models. And honestly, that course was focused on data cleaning, right? But we were expected to just apply the machine learning things because today we have libraries that come out of box. You can just apply. You give input data set, you get output. You match the thing, and you do some probabilistic calculation that how much is your confidence, and that's it. That's your machine learning that all the undergraduate students learn in India,
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
and which is not very productive when you go out in an industry because no company is looking for that kind of thing.
Yeah, even the companies look out for people who just can't like. Even their engineers can do those stuffs, right? Use PyTorch library and make something out of it, but they want real people from that. Okay,
Yeah.
who are really interested in knowing about how it works underneath and all that. So yeah,
Tell me about some culture at your internship company. It's one assure, right?
yeah, it's one assure. So it is a startup based on insurance tech. Okay, so let's just forget the tech part, but it is a P2C company which is focused on insurance products distribution and solving the penetration problem of insurance, which they aren't able to solve it yet. But yeah, they are on their way to solve that uh, using the tech. Okay.
But
You
what's
want
the
to know the culture.
what's the
Okay.
culture?
Yeah, culture is pretty much chill. Like they are adapting to how US companies works. Like they are pretty much happy with the hybrid mode, but they want us to be in that location. Okay, so they are okay if you don't come to office for some days and work from Bangalore itself. So, and even if I go late to the office, like after I mean if my reporting time is 10 a.m. and I get to there at 11 a.m., it's not a problem. It's just that you have to complete your work. So that's their motto.
Yeah,
काम होना चाहिए बाकी सब ठीक है जब भी करो.
that's really similar to my company, but my company is pretty
Yeah.
huge and in the tech sector. It's not even a tech company, but we are in a tech. We are a tech department in that company.
Yeah.
So we don't have a really
Everywhere.
so we don't really have a reporting time, so to speak, and we are hybrid as well.
We don't have,
But how they execute business, how they are treating you as an intern, like
yeah. See, after going there, there is no such as what role are you into. Like tech team is like they will uh, work on anything. Like even if it is DevOps or something, you get to work on everything. But yeah, they are struggling for experienced person right now, good experienced person, because they are all like similar people. Right? And about treating me as an intern, they are not treating me as an intern actually. They are treating me as a developer only, just because like uh, there is no such like tech difference in our skill sets because it's just way you approach a problem and pretty much technically you find that everything on Google itself. So yeah, they just concentrate on how to find that, where to find that, and how to implement that.
where are you prepared? How much of you were prepared for this kind of role from a university? like I'm talking about the university courses, like, from courses, how much of you had exposure to this kind of concepts or things in university?
I would contribute. I won't. Zero.
So
It's all on me. Like,
so are you learning from scratch at the workplace, or did you have some sort of experience on your own?
I had my experience. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I prepared for data structures algorithm. I used to do project with that. So not to just get into that internal preparation mindset. So I was also doing a project in web development to learn uh, like how a software system works. Okay. So and eventually I consider interview as a luck more than hard work. Yeah. Hard work is just that it shines your luck. Because in interview, you might get a question that you have already done, and if you haven't done it already, and it's like pure DA7, and you should have known that it doesn't get.
Yeah, I got.
There is no other way to
So
solve it. Yeah.
so
So there are a lot of companies. Yeah.
it's very much like, for the even as interns, Indian companies have very technical interview processes. That's what you are trying to say, from what I understand. Okay. Over here,
Of
the
course.
system is very different. Over here, we don't have any fucking technical interviews, or it is mostly not based on that. It's mostly based on your past experiences, how much inclined you are towards the company itself and the tech stack that they have, not rather what you already know. Because that's the whole concept of internship, right? Like, you are supposed to be learning. They're not hiring an employee; they're hiring an intern so they can teach them. So
But see, there is a difference because here in startup, they want people who can take actions immediately.
yeah,
You know, they don't have a lot of time to spare on you training and you setting up yourself. So uh, it's fair that they ask what you know. But yeah, according to you, what you're saying, they also had a cultural fit. So yeah,
yeah, we are very, like, yeah. I keep on hearing about cultural fit questions. Yeah, and they have like different
they are
rounds
not
as
very
well.
typical.
But they were
It is not.
multiple rounds of interviews for internship. And is it very common?
Yeah, it is like it. In most of the companies, the last round is that only.
But how many rounds are there?
But it, but I think that should be the first round.
Yeah. How many rounds are there though?
In my case, there were three. One was assignment, one was technical round, and one was this talk with CEO and HR.
Okay, so as an intern,
And yeah, sorry, I was forgetting one phone screen.
oh yeah, yeah. So coming back to some the Gandhinagar's conversation. So what are the aspirations of people around you? Are like are people inclined towards moving out of Gujarat or not, or what sort of work they want? They are expecting to have. What sort of companies are based out of Gujarat for the, of course, for people like us for software development, and how is the difference from Gujarat companies and based out of Bangalore and other places?
Uh, to your surprise, many people are okay with getting a service-based company over there on on-campus placement.
Based out of
And
Gujarat.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And there are only a very few people like I just told that 20% wala. So those are the people who are aware about what is new in the industry, uh, how big the scope is, and some are very much constrained to a particular mindset that TCS, Infosys mein lag gaya, like they want status, right?
Yeah.
It's like they are being programmed from the childhood itself that it's okay to earn, like work there
Yeah.
and earn nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Because it used to be really a status symbol, like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and Tech Mahindra. They used to pay crazy
But
amount of
it's
money
not now.
5 years, 10 years ago. Like in 2010,
Yeah.
2012, they used to pay crazy
Because
relatively, but now there
tech,
are lot
tech was
of
not,
companies
yeah.
that pays you a lot more than TCS. Like right now, I see, and TCS and Infosys hire like in masses, right? So if you meet a certain threshold, you are in, I guess. There's not even personalized
You
interview
know,
processes.
Infosys conducts a Infi TQ करके एक test every year, and to your surprise, that was even harder than an Amazon or Facebook maybe online test.
Yeah,
It was harder than that, and they sort of cheat those deserving candidates just because of that status, and
correct.
those people get trapped into that. And I have seen hiring in my startup very closely. They just see the resume and they see a service-based startup, service-based company. They reject that candidate blindly. So that's how things are working.
Okay. What about you? After graduate, what are your plans? Like, of course, it doesn't have to be very solid plan, but what do you feel like? You want to go into a research kind of masters later down the path, maybe PhD, or start a company or join a company or go abroad? What are your thoughts right now? Like, it doesn't have to be anything solid, but what are you like? Where do you see yourself in navigating all this process?
Yeah. So currently, on my pathway, I can say I have two options, two paths ahead of me: a placement wala path and a master's wala path, just like everyone does. But uh, me being an explorer, I'm into exploring this tech industry wala part right now. As you already know, that I'm in Bangalore and working at a startup, and I really like it. Like I don't see myself studying for the next 2 years on,
So,
like, yeah,
what do you mean
I
by
can't see myself studying.
what do you mean by exploring the tech sector as you're in Bangalore? Like you want to join different companies, different startups, and just get the what's going on the ground, or what?
No, it's not just about knowing it, but it's also about what can I do after that. Okay,
So
if I see
eventually something
an
starting up
opportunity
something.
for business, yeah,
So
if I see a business or something out of it, I could start it, or if I even learn pretty much good deal of out of it, and I'm at a designation where I'm making big decisions for the company. That is also okay for me. Yeah.
okay.
So I want to
So
be at a place where, like, my decision matters.
well, that's gonna be eventual process, right? As we grow. So yeah. Do you see yourself staying in Bangalore or anywhere? Where else do you stay? Like, do you want to stay or build life? You're open to any cities, or you have particular place in mind, or what?
See, I'm pretty much inclined towards my, of course, home state. But it would have been great if the tech industry was over there, uh, but I haven't still figured out, like, what's the advantages of staying over here in Bangalore and not in Ahmedabad if the company is almost similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, if if like there is a point in number of companies, okay. So there are a lot of startup over here. I live in Mangla, so it's the startup hub for Bangalore. Mostly the startup offices and all of that are over here. Slice company is over here, and another one is Indira Nagar where my office is. Cred is over there and all that. And there is another part of Bangalore where Amazon and all those companies are there. So there is yet to explore many part of the city. 2 months is not enough to
Yeah.
not enough to be over here. Okay, so I would surely be seeing over to be here for a year or so.
But now we are in a very remote led environment as well. So would by any chance, if you have a like, would you have, is having a remote job very important for you? Like, let's say you have two offers, but one company wants you to stay in Bangalore, another company is fully remote or provides you to stay in a different city altogether forever, but the one pays bit less, one pays more. What is having a remote very important? You would you choose to compromise a bit on pay like 5, 10%, 20%, but you get to work from Surat, the remote place?
It's not so important for me right now, at my initial stage of my career. Uh, First and foremost reason is, like, if you are in office environment, and if you are stuck somewhere, you can connect within a few seconds to that person. Like, I'm stuck over here, can you please tell me? Then employee is sitting next to you, or just in forward, like, okay. So the communication gap and the threshold to work
I get it.
is
Yeah.
very less in office environment. Even if it is like, uh, y- like, you are not very productive at the office, but you get your work done over there.
Yeah, I feel the same.
You see,
From my side, the perspective is very similar as well. I believe is my company is also something like, you can you can work from home anytime you want, but you are supposed to be like not abuse the system. So that means you should be like, if you genuinely have some reason, or like you have some doctor's appointment, or let's say some plumber is coming at your home today or something like that. So then you can work from home, not a problem. But you cannot do that every day. So, and in my perspective, it's very great because when I go to office, I get to see all the faces, and especially in the meetings when there's this big conference room, everyone is sitting and talking. I can actually sense that how the communication is being done, what are the like dynamics of the workplace, how problems are being solved, this and that. Contrary to that, if it's on the Zoom, well, you just see like hear people's audio and see a screen presentation, and half of the people are like probably not sitting right across the screen, and they are like working something else and this and that. And as an intern, I'm mostly the observer guy, right? Not really contributing a lot to the team. So
very.
while I'm observing, it's not a great deal on Zoom, but in the office, it's a lot more productive.
So I feel like, after a year or so in the same company, you will pretty much get to know how the system works, what are the changes and all that. You get your hands on everything. Then it is like okay to work from home, uh, and actually working from office might be an overkill. So yeah, in the initial phases, I would look out for hybrid mode, and yeah, if the pay was even higher for remote, I won't be uh, uh, accepting the in office one. I
Whatever.
would
It's usually the
go
other
for
way around.
remote.
It's usually the other way around.
It usually is the other way around, but yeah, I am considering a scenario where I will offer where remote is paying me I am higher. I would of
That's
course
a very
take it
optimistic.
because
It's very optimistic to say, but yeah, like of course everybody wants to that, but the dilemma is usually the other way around. When in person pays you higher than the remote, that's where the dilemma comes in.
yeah.
Okay, fair, fair.
But you know what? There are very few people. There are people who are like they are working on minimum wages of a fresher software engineer, and being hired by US or Canada, the small companies, and they are earning more than what an average software engineer earns over here working from office. So there are some people, and that way is uh, actually expanding.
Yeah,
So many
that's
people,
that's very interesting
yeah,
as you bring up. And honestly, those people that you call them average people, they are not really an average when you compare them with the workforce based out of North America. Because my personal opinion on that is from my observation, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But right now, that's the thesis statement I'm trying to explore by talking with all these different people. That top 5% of Indian software engineers or developers can outperform majority of the workforce based out of North America. So this
They are outperforming.
but that's your bias comes in, right? That's your bias comes in because you're based out of there, I'm based out of here. And I don't know, yeah.
It's not like that. You should like I have some contacts over in US too. So it's like in each team you will find Indians dominating over there.
But
Okay.
that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is pay scale. As if not the I'm not talking about
Yeah.
the Indians. I'm not talking about the Indians who I'm not talking about the Indians who are in North America. I'm talking about the Indian engineers working out of India but supporting the North America. So those top 5% people in India who are supporting the North American operations can outperform the entire workforce, not entire, but majority of the workforce that is that is developing the North American products. And they're paying they are getting paid fraction of the money. And that's really
Yeah, that
not
is a
fucked up,
possibility.
but that's my personal opinion. But at the same time, North American culture sees that Indian engineers are not employable or they are very theoretical led. And at the same time, even students believe the same. But
I haven't heard of that. I
what
haven't heard
that Indian
that North America thinks like that. Yeah.
yeah, not
Because
because
you see,
if you see all the companies, like Infosys have like 6 months training prior to joining the company, right? And other companies have very similar programs as well. Like they have to upskill the engineers coming out of Indian colleges because they are not good enough based out of the company's requirement. So this is the very common notion that we keep on listening from different companies, like not just North America, but even Indian companies. But it's very contrary.
but right now, if you see, many projects from North America are outsourced over here,
That's the whole point of Indian ecosystem, right?
right? So they are bringing in the dollar money in India,
Yeah,
which is a good point. Yeah. And US people are finding it cheaper workforce, right?
yeah,
Indian engineers aren't charging that much.
yeah.
So my point is like US, North America knows the potential of India
Of course,
and they acknowledge that. Yeah.
of course, and that's not the point. That's true, and that's going to happen. Like recently, like India exported $250 billion of software. That is more than what Saudi exports oil, right? So software
That's
is
an
worth
interesting.
more than oil. But again, per capita, we are not going to go there. But what I'm trying to say is we have very conflicting opinions that are out there. One says Indian engineers are not employable; they have to be upskilled, and 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 similar thing. And at the same time, students acknowledge the same as well that Indian universities are not teaching them enough. They are like very theoretical led and this and that. On the other hand, we have this whole Indian ecosystem thriving on the software development. Then how are these things working out at the same time?
Okay. See, I don't want to defame any university or so, but the you told me your experience about that government colleges and all that. Okay. So apart from good colleges that which you can count on your hands, okay. So apart from that, the engineers that those are coming out of those universities are not employable
See,
because
you are saying the same.
yeah, but but there are also people from good universities now. It's not like only those are the engineers. So the fact that 80% of engineers are unemployable and all that, that's a bit messed up, I guess.
I
Yeah,
don't know, but you are actually concluding or not? You are validating what I'm trying to say. That my thesis statement: top 5% of Indian engineers can outperform the entire if not entire, the majority of the workforce in
Not only top 5%, it's collective effort. Yeah.
Okay.
Not only top 5%. I can't say only top 5% because tech is a place where you need workforce. It I don't know about what would it be after AI, but tech is a place where you need a workforce because only talented tech people can't do all the work. Okay, so you need obviously people who are below you. Like if there is a senior software engineer, there must be an hierarchy of people.
Okay.
Yeah. So eventually, those engineers which were not from very good universities, they would be learning from somewhere eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. So they would start from very lowest level of experiences like interns. Okay. And gradually build their way up, or might not be. They must be satisfied over there.
Yeah.
So pretty much it's not like top 5%. It's collective effort of each engineer. So
Okay. But that's very interesting. You mentioned about the hierarchy, right? That the senior developers and then you need the rest of the team as well. It's the same thing for North American culture as well. Like from what I see, like, I know about different people and from different companies and in fact my company as well. So mostly all the tech teams or all the tech led ecosystems in North America have some sort of sister team or a team based out of India. So like if there is a team of 15 engineers, software developers in US or Canada, they have a sister team in India. Of course, it's usually the big companies, not even big, but small companies as well. They would have some sort of element that is outsourced to US, to India, and they would be developing, those stuff in India. So still, even after outsourcing thing, like you were talking about hierarchy over here, but the senior developers that they have in India, they are still taking orders from the software developers in the US, and they certainly decide the whole thing. Like they prepare the whole architecture of the thing, and then they send out, push it to India, and then happens. But again, I feel like I genuinely believe that these developers that are in India in the top hierarchy, they're so much better than these folks and based out of North America. But just because of the contextual difference, as if these guys don't know exactly what's going on here, so that's why they cannot develop that sort of
right.
But they have to take orders from here in North America, and there's a lot of things I'm trying to explore and understand more how the dynamics works. So probably we would
just taking the advantage of that gap.
Probably after 5-10 conversations, or when I have some legitimate proper answer to this dilemma, we will have another conversation where I could answer you in a better sense after talking with different people.
Atman, I have to ask you a question. I'm curious about that. Like, what do you have to tell about huge wave of people migrating to abroad for higher studies? Is it the new red race or new symbol for status?
Not really. It has nothing to do with the status symbol. It's more like
I have some friends like they like એમના like culture માં family માં જ કે આમ મહેસાણાથી આવ્યા હોય ને આમ કે છોકરો એન્જિનિયરિંગ ભણે છે તારે તો જવાનો જ છે ગયો કેમ નથી આ કેમ નહીં ગયો સાવ ડૂબું છે so I have some friends and I have talked to them that what it is like in that culture. So in pressurized situation, some kids are not kids, youth are going.
No, it's not really about pressurized, but I have this whole theory about it. It's really interesting. Okay, so here I go. So first of all, it's not a status symbol. No, never. It's never gonna be a status symbol. But yeah, certain parts of the country it might be. I'm not aware a lot about that. Like Punjab, status symbol, maybe not, I don't know. But talking about our state, Gujarat, and other parts of the country, mostly South India as well, people, it's an escape from the pressure cooker that we have in India. Because people who are very smart and can survive the system would and should stay in India, because those are the best of the best. It's the mediocre and but above average people who should escape it, or who would like to escape the India and go to North America and start a career and stuff like that. But again, there are two sort of people that are coming to Canada. I'm not sure about America yet. In America, it's still the career-oriented people or the motel owners and these and that, like Mehsana wala loco. But specifically for the, but specifically for the Canada, there are like two sort of people. One who have no business, like people who are like purely coming for career, but as an escape, because they cannot go and do crazy things in India, survive the system. Like, it's like very straightforward, mediocre, like 5-6 lakh of package, and that's it. Because of course, they are not also very genuinely super smart, like coming out of IIT or NIT. So it's gonna be struggle for them. So if they come abroad at the age of 18 or 22, they still have a chance. They still have a chance to develop, upskill themselves, and contribute to the economy abroad and live a decent life and build a career probably, and get and that process would make them equivalent to people coming out of IIT. But that's the whole thing. There is a second sort of people who have no option in India, because even their skill is very mediocre, not even mediocre, but very, very mediocre, as if not even mediocre to, so to speak. They're so fucked up, like, and they come to Canada not to build a career, but to just figure out life. Like, they would start from a very bottom of the pyramid, like gas stations or warehouse or the Walmart and Team Sort and food places, and eventually try to figure out life, like build a life, have like all the basic necessities that they can have. They cannot have that in India because it's too hard for them. No, they cannot even have career as well in India, but they can. They certainly won't have career in Canada as well, but they would have a lot better life than in India. And it's a generational change.
So to draw a conclusion over here, to exceed, like to succeed in India at like achieving something great, you need to be extremely smart and smart about things and overachiever kind of person.
Yeah.
and 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 if not that, you might get stuck in mediocrity.
Yeah, and if you choose to go abroad, then you can have a decent life. You're not going to be a millionaire, but you would be able to maintain a certain standard of living, to have a life and create good good resources for your family and for your future generations. But while in India, but again, it goes the other way around as well. The extremely smart people who are in India, they can and they should stay in India, but if they choose to come abroad, then it's abundance for them anyway. But again, it's not that abundance anyway, because over here everybody is pretty much the same. The guy who came to escape India, to escape the competition of India, is on the same level as the guy coming out of IIT coming abroad. So here it feels like the competition is a level field, like the game is pretty much fair, while in India you need to be extremely smart and super good. So people like us who came, it's just we escaped the competition because we couldn't crack the competition. That's the bottom line of the whole conversation. It's not like I was crazily, I wanted to go to America, US, Canada, whatever. No, it was as simple as I was privileged enough to have the resources to go abroad. At the same time, I was not smart enough to crack the competition in India. So I decided.
Yeah, and you were practical enough to take that decision.
But fuck practicalism. It's more about a privilege. What would I have done if I don't had the privilege of going abroad? If my parents were not good enough, then and they would not be able to send me. And then,
Yeah, I understand.
so it's all about also the privileges that we have. So you need privilege to escape the Indian competition. If not, then that's the only way out. You got to crack. Of course, it's not the, it's not like there is no exceptions to it, but acknowledging the reality, you need to have this, you need to pass this competition, whether like it or not. Once you pass the competition, the initial, the G need or whatever you call it, then you have the luxury to choose your life. You cannot continue that competition, but you have to pass that threshold in the first place. We always have exceptions.
And do you have people's like doing nighters or for work over there, or is it just in India and it's very common in startup culture over here?
In the corporate world,
People actually do. Yeah.
in corporate world, no, nobody does.
See,
Crazy.
to escape that competition, people over here are literally not sleeping at nights
But
consecutively.
again, it comes down to, you know, the quality of work and expectations and things like that. Like, even though we don't have, even though we don't pull all nighters, people are able to deliver because the people because there are people working, because people who are in that position, they can deliver those things at that time. That's why they're in that position in the first place. They're not upskilling themselves. They can deliver. That's why they're in that position. And of course, I'm talking about the decent company. While startup, like somebody who is starting out of their home, like trying to do them work, build something for themselves, they are gonna pull all-nighters anyway, right? Like university students trying to build something.
Yeah.
But in corporate, when they are getting paid, it's always like, you know, hourly based, right? So you work 8 hours, anything more than that considers overtime, and company don't want to pay it, so they would be happy to get things done within 8 hours.
So pretty much work is same over both the places, but rewards are different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rewards are very different.
Correct. Yeah.
So what is your stay on that? Would you ever consider moving abroad?
Like I have already considered, but they'll say I still have hope over here.
Okay. I believe, like, you know, India is a very good place for starting out businesses, not for employees.
I personally think that the work culture is changing. Not that that pace, not that very fast pace, but it is changing.
I believe India don't need to change the work culture.
They need to. Like there are some places I have my roommate who is an architecture. That nighter thing was like they are doing it willingly. Here they
Yeah.
call them in office and make them do the nighters compulsory.
In architecture, it's pretty much expected as well. Like, I know a couple of people.
Yeah.
It trains you for a lot.
Yeah, so that needs to be changed because if the employee is not keeping well, how do you expect them to deliver in?
Yeah, I mean, the work
certain
culture
hours?
of all-nighters and stuff, like, yeah, fair enough, it's not fair. But other things, like, but there are certain reasons to it as well. I don't know, man. Like, I'm figuring that out.
Yeah, that system needs to be streamlined.
System changes when it needs to. Automatically, it changes. It's not a conscious thing that, okay, we are going to change it. It's not a revolution. It's business. In business, people change as per the needs automatically. You're not like, I want to, because again, the rewards are different, right? So that's the whole point of it. That it's not like they want to create a better workplace. They won't create a better workplace if there's no money to it. It's not like a charity, right? So if you go into, like, you know, really good companies, like, I don't know about certain companies, but anything good enough, good companies, they would have good work culture because that's how they succeed. They succeed.
Yeah. So it's like when you can draw a line of advantages and disadvantages between US and India, like what would be advantages for you and more advantages would lie in India, supposedly, then you should stay in India. But
No, not
other than
really.
that, there is no option.
Not really. You cannot compare. You're not comparing apples to apples. You cannot compare. It's not advantage. It's not like a 5 point answer to it. Like these are the advantages of this and these are disadvantages of this. It's more
But
like
there must be some evaluation, na?
no, I don't believe so. It's so two different thing. India is growing and probably, you never know, 15, 20 years down the line, all the immigrants that are over here would come back because organically Indian ecosystem is so powerful that you have to go back because that's where opportunities are. So it's not like this side is the ticket to the heaven or that side. It's a really a personal choice and where you see yourself, what sort of life you want to build it. Because after coming here, you can look like good career and this and that, but there are a lot of fucked up things along the process. But again, we are willingly choosing to overlook that. So, and a lot of people don't realize that before coming here. They realize only after that. But I knew exactly what I was getting into, and I chose even then because I was willing to let it go. But because that's how I was as a person, but not everybody is like that. And
Yeah,
and I and
heard some
I
cases.
feel like I would someday come back, not as a employee, but as a business owner. I don't know, but that's aspiration, so to speak.
Nay, I want to ask you, like, I have heard some cases where people are going for study to abroad, but they aren't able to settle to that culture. Like, they are they aren't able to keep up with that loneliness and all that. So, is it really true? And like, what masses of people are coming back due to that reasons, just because of mental state?
I don't know because loneliness, yeah, that's true. That's gonna be there, and it's going to be there throughout the life because it's a cultural identity crisis, so to speak. At some point, you don't consider yourself neither American Canadian, neither Indian. You are somewhere stuck in between. Once you leave home, you can never go back. Like just like you already left Surat. You can never go back and call yourself Surti because you have some element of Gandhinagar. You have some elements of Bangalore. You have seen the world around you. So this is not you're not comparing different places. You're just experiencing different places, right? So you want to keep on experiencing those different elements of it. So you cannot be like, I will spend like I have been to these places, 3, 4 places, and now I want to spend rest of my life back in home in Surat. You can never say that like that. Same goes with people like abroad. You cannot say like I want to stay for the rest of my life only in this city in Canada or back home. So it's you
I
once you
completely relate to it.
once you leave your home place, hometown, you can never go back again, not to the same place. It's always changing. And people especially coming abroad, they end up having cultural identity because they are neither the place of this new identity nor that thing. You're stuck somewhere else. So the chances are you would end up those kind of feeling of loneliness and I don't know what else to call it, but it's certainly it's a human condition, so to speak. Like it is what it is, man. Like you you take some, you leave some trade-offs. In India, you have different sort of trade-offs. So that's why you're not comparing to apples to apples.
I understand. I think it's more than 1.5, isn't it?
Yeah, I would edit it out.
Fellow cardin after okay, bye. Company hard cardin exact part my
Yeah, of course.
PPO ને બધું છે ને એટલે જે લોકો એ લોકો નામે બી સર્ચ કરે એટલે
That's not interesting. Let's wrap it up like with something interesting, like conclusively.
થોડુંક એ કરના ઓકે ભાઈ કંઈક ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ કરવું છે
like wrap it up. That's it. Something like, okay, okay? I have this final question.
Question is, करूँ सी rap?
Yeah, I have this. Anyway, what is the biggest uncertainty that you're facing right now, or a dilemma?
Biggest dilemma right now. Yeah, there are two of that. One is uncertainty of not getting a package that I deserve. Second uncertainty is whether I should move to some other place or do a higher study. That is like sort of, I close that question by myself by giving an answer to myself, and I again open it up at some other time. Okay, so second one is really dicey, and I hope I will figure that out very soon. But yeah, the first one, uncertainty, is that yeah, if I would get my deserving package over here in India or not. And that sort of relates to my second
Is it?
pathway also. Yeah.
But what does it? What do you mean by deserving package? How do you conclude that to a number?
Yeah, I can conclude that by saying I should be getting what my college on campus packages are more than all of that. Okay. So highest packages on campus should be lesser than mine.
What I mean?
That's a simple metric. That is simple metric. Like suppose in on campus placements, someone is getting
X amount.
what 10
X.
yeah, X amount. Okay. So I should have been fetch more than that. So
Then, but why is it deserving?
it is necessary. It is necessary.
Isn't it just like a
Like it's not ego. It's a simple metric to see if you are able to get out of that sort of mentality of people.
I get it, but I get it. I really have this problem with the.
I don't want
deserve.
to mean my university or something, but that is how like
I have the problem.
it will sort of tell me that I am able to escape that rat race part. I will be able to escape that rat race part, and that is my sort of metric to judge upon myself.
Isn't it like you are trying to escape the rat race, but wanting to have considering that want as a deserving factor in your package, similar to your university or more than that, is itself a rat race.
But yeah, rat race won't end. Yeah, that is correct.
Like yeah, you're saying this is your highest package at university. You want this much, which is completely fair, but you are calling it as a deserving thing that you deserve this much. Why? There's no thing. You didn't answer that.
So why you want why?
Why you want that? Like you said,
Yeah.
you want to escape the rat race.
Yeah,
This and that.
because
But why you deserve? That's the thing. The question is really why you deserve X plus.
I have an answer to that. Yeah. Because all of the people who are over there right now haven't like even explored this city, like not just city. They weren't able to get out of that place. Like, okay.
Right.
They were like इधर ही ऑन कैंपस में मुझे कुछ मिल जाए वो पकड़ लेंगे वही करेंगे.
I get it. I understand.
There are only very few people who tried to but didn't get eventually.
Yeah.
It's my luck and my hard work. There were some better talents than me who were deserving. So yeah, let me tell you that only 3 to 4 people from my batch are outside Gujarat.
Okay.
Right.
So I really like that. So you are saying, so to actually make sense of that, you are saying your trajectory makes you a deserving more than the highest package on campus. So that's
Even if
understandable
it is,
and that's fair.
yeah.
The second question is, so how did you got this internship in the first place in Bangalore? Did you apply it on campus? Of course not. You're saying that you got it outside. So did you apply it by yourself at the random places? How many places did you apply and how did it all worked out? How did you end it up with in Bangalore?
Yeah. So I was very active on LinkedIn, applying jobs and all, but that was not it. I found this job posting on Wellfound. Wellfound is in Angel List. Angel List name is changed to Wellfound. Okay. So on a I guess weekend, I was exploring that where could I apply more and all that. So I got to there, Wellfound, and just randomly started applying on software engineer intern positions. And I probably would have applied to 6 or 7 of them on the top list. And the my luck was good because at that time they were really looking forward to get an intern, and I was a perfect alignment for that to them. So our skills and values matched. So
And I really like this fact that you said 6 to 7 companies and out of 6 to 7 you got one. So if you calculate percentage wise, it's what? One divided.
but you can't nah. I was very active on other platforms as well. So
Oh, okay.
I would have mostly applied to 200 jobs maybe.
Oh yeah. So 1 divided by 200.
Yeah, it's simple, right? You have to increase your chances to get into something. Because there are thousands of applications coming to them.
I totally agree to that. I totally agree.
Yeah,
Even myself, I
you
applied
need
to
to.
60, 70.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And and other than that, there is a bouncy like plus point that cherry on the top is you should cold mail to them. Like you should reach out to them personal on a personal level, but on a professional sense.
yeah, yeah. I keep on listening about that. Yeah, that's very generic, but not
Because
everybody
that
does
that
it.
is the only way to to get yourself noticed out of all the jobs.
Yeah, it's something like it's very generic that everybody tells you to do it, but not everybody does it. So
Yeah, I did that, and it is quite simple now. There is a simple hack, ChatGPT.
yeah,
So you can make a personalized message for anyone giving correct prompts.
yeah, that's true. Interesting. Okay, then that's great to have this conversation. We will have like this is like a snapshot of the whole your current scenario, I guess, and maybe 5 years down the line you can revisit this.
We will look at it, laugh at it,
Yeah, how we
change
have
it.
evolved because this is the thing, right? 16 to 17, now you're 21. Couple of years down the line, you might be in somewhere in the Canada, US, New Zealand, Australia, UK. UK is far, but we'll see. And or else you are in some executive level position in some Bangalore startup and 6 7 years you
Yeah,
never know.
or I
Have
be
or you have
working
your own company.
at my own thing, or I might be remotely working at some.
Yeah, you're remotely
Yeah,
working, earning in US dollars, working from Surat, and you never know. And like
yeah,
especially when you don't have necessarily a perfect vision of it, you are still figuring it out. So opportunities are endless, and that's some interesting
yeah,
part as well. At least we are not that fucked up that we don't know at all what we want to do. We are still figuring out. You want to do something in software, right? So in that sense, it's pretty genuinely it makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I want to thank you, like, for inviting me first of all, and having the first conversation with me, and being so raw with everything and natural with everything. So yeah, thanks.
I mean, I'm trying to explore myself as well. So I have this certain prompts that I'm trying to learn. Like the whole purpose of this whole thing is I am in Calgary in Canada, and I always wanted to do something based out of India. I look forward to that, but I feel like I'm out of touch because I have all these theories, but I don't know what's the ground reality anymore. completely like Instagram, social media, internet is not good enough anymore. It's all biased. It's all so fucked up. So I want to have this build a ecosystem or a community of people that I can interact with them, so I can figure out what's going on there out there, and suddenly something new that's going along. And
Great initiative, Atman.
I don't know, we'll see.
I don't know, nice. Like whether someone watches it or not, but it's great for us only.
That's the whole point. It's not about the other people. It's not about the audience. It's about it's about you and
Yeah.
me. 5 years later, I don't care whether you watch other people's or not, but you would certainly watch yourself, and you have some. This is like a snapshot of time capsule.
Yeah.
At 20, the name of Dalia is 21, and I have these other people from different places, like different universities, different background altogether. So I would get to know what exactly they're up to. Like what sort of mindset they have
Yeah.
from their background.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
And I had a YouTube channel in my past, and now that I visited it, like
Yeah.
I'm like I was doing some shit.
Yeah, that was some epic shit, right? I know you were like suspended in 10th standard for creating some video thing.
That shouldn't be repeated.
Fuck it, man. And whether you know or not,
I wasn't suspended. I wasn't suspended. I was off for a day.
oh, just that.
Okay.
Well, fuck it. I did something fucked up. I was suspended for 1 month. The RIA officers, it was a meme page for in 12th, man. Like in 12th, I suspended for like what? They didn't let me in for 1 month or so. I don't know whether they're scared of me or they were so offended by the whole thing. But yeah, so you were the first guy over.
The similar guys meeting.